Hi there. I wanted to record a little video to give people a bit more insight into The Ghost of Stolen Summer, which is the new show that I've been making with Common Chorus Theatre Company. So this new show, it's a folk horror. A little bit different to our last show, If I Say Jump, which was sort of a bit of a comedy farce with some sort of thoughtful stuff going on underneath that. I think this one will kind of keep that sort of thoughtful edge, but sort of moving into a slightly darker territory. Although it's the script's still written by Dick Bonham, who wrote the last one, so I'm sure it will still have lots of jokes and gags in it for people that do like the jokes and the gags, because well, he likes jokes and gags. Um, so yeah, written. So it's set in a place called Litherton, which is sort of a bit of a it's a fictional town, sort of over on. East Riding, kind of on the coast. It's a coastal town, probably not too far away from Bridlington, that sort of area. And in this town, they have a solstice festival, which is something that has been happening in the town for hundreds of years in different guises. But today, it's grown up into sort of quite a modern sort of family sort of festival with sort of floats and market stalls and bands and that kind of going on. But underneath this festival and in the sort of the story where it comes from, there's a real darkness and a sense that this sort of darkness and this violence that's at the beginning of the sort of this festival has sort of been sown into the ground. I won't talk too much more about that because I suppose that's the core of the story, really, than the plot. So in this town, we meet Lily, who's played by the wonderful Emma Gordon, and she is sort of in her sort of late 30s, and she's living with a quite a serious neurological condition called hemiplegic migraine, which has stopped her being able to kind of work and progress on the path in life that she thought she was going to be able to progress on, and that's had some sort of quite serious consequences for her. And she's now sort of trying to figure out who she now is. If anyone knows me and knows my friend Gemma, she has hemiplegic migraine, and she's sort of been had to stop working because of that. And I suppose we're taking quite a lot of inspiration from her life and her story with Lily, and also quite a lot of inspiration from people who shared their stories with us as part of the Lonely Society project, which we did earlier on in the year, which was sort of a project exploring the mental health impacts of social isolation. So Lily's haunted. Lily sees ghosts because this is a ghost story, and they're not sort of like dead people ghosts. The ghosts that she sees it's a ghost of her, but not her quite as she is or how she understands her, and coming to understand what this ghost is and why she's being haunted by it is sort of a large part of this story. So then we've also got Michael, who's kind of our sort of co-lead, secondary lead. Michael is the local vicar of the church that's quite involved in the organisation and the running of the festival, which has this sort of weird stone circle out the back, as though it kind of might relate to sort of like some quite ancient sort of pagan kind of stuff. We're doing another story with a vicar in it. We like stories with vicars in it. We are joking in a way that might actually mean it happens, that this could be the second part of the Dog Collar trilogy. We'll see. Michael is in his early 60s, approaching retirement age. So again, sort of at a point whereby he's now kind of considering quite a shift and transition in his life and how he sees himself and who he is. And he also gets quite caught up in the sort of the challenges of the spookiness and these strange goings on, which again I kind of rub up against his sort of role as a vicar, and I think in quite an interesting way in this story. Things that happen that I can tell you about that don't ruin the story. A real life modern day ghost hunter turns up with lots of sort of like infrared cameras and stuff, and that's quite an interesting kind of clash of worlds between this ghost hunter and Michael, who's kind of like quite a spiritually centered kind of guy. Other things that turn up. It's set in the modern day, so like yeah, sort of camera phones and gathering evidence and actually sort of people seeing stuff and it getting on the internet. That's a thing that happens, and that all gets quite interesting. The end of the story, it's got quite a big kind of like crescendo. Yeah, some big things happen at the end, which I can't really tell you about. Yeah, it's got music in it. It's a musical in the sense, not a musical, but there'll be sort of be live music throughout the show, and there are songs in it because deep down, secretly, I quite like some songs in my theatre, as long as the theatre also has some stuff to think about in it as well. So yeah, that's quite exciting. I suppose it is sort of in sort of like a light fantasy kind of realm, in that there is this sort of ghost story and there's sort of definitely sort of a sense of world and lore that underpins where these ghosts are coming from and why. If anybody knows me, you know that I'm quite actually into sort of my fantasy stuff, and we have worked really hard to make sure that that sort of sense of world, that the spiritual world that this show exists in, is well constructed and will be quite satisfying to unlock and to understand. So I think that's built quite well. It's going to be quite exciting and interesting to see unpack. Yeah, so basically we are doing an R&D showing of sort of probably the first half hour or so of this show. We're doing that on the 13th of September, Friday the 13th, which is a complete coincidence, but does work quite well for our folk horror show. We're doing that at 3 p.m. at Interplay Theatre. Be lovely for folks to come down, have a look, let us know what they think is connecting, and yeah, we'll have a lovely time. Hopefully see you there. Cheers, bye-bye.